Good morning.
Good morning.
Is the AC fine? आपके लिए?
Yes. What is this sticker? Smile, you are on camera.
Oh, it's a CCTV which is operational in the cab for safety reasons.
Oh, so it's going on all the time.
Yeah, it's always on. And then I also make some content on the side.
I'm
You know,
looking at that.
कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग बातें होती है, पैसेंजर्स मिलते हैं तो with their consent I put it, you know, on my Insta. You can check.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. And how long have you been doing this?
Few months. Started quite recently. Started with IT, then moved into video production, designing, animation, and now little bit of this on the side.
You're also a licensed bus driver. That's also interesting.
Yeah, I have a passion for driving. So मैंने
Subsidiary.
yeah in Pune only. So there's a very good heavy vehicle driving school. So I enrolled into it a couple of years back. पूरा सीखा, license बना के I'm all equipped. I like to stay prepared. And then childhood से dream था भाई कि मतलब I get to drive a heavy vehicle. So I learned it.
Oh, that was the fantasy.
So on this side you can see me driving the truck.
Yes.
The photograph is different.
Yeah.
So what do you do, ma'am?
I
For living?
work in an NGO called Parisar. And
Parisar.
Parisar, yeah.
I think I have heard the name. It was from my other clients.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's interesting. That's always good to know.
Because I work with a lot of ऐसे NGOs and startups in Pune.
Right.
And
right.
I
Quite
think I've come
possible.
across Parisar. So.
Because the good thing about Pune is that we have a very vibrant NGO, civil society ecosystem.
Ecosystem,
And
yeah.
we do a lot of collabs and we sort of know each other, take each other's
It's
help.
good
So
community.
always good. Yes, yes. And compared to, some other cities where we've been to, Pune has just like a very good NGO ecosystem, I would say.
So Parisar is there in other states or as well?
No, we are largely working in Pune, but
Okay.
we do occasionally take up a few cities in Maharashtra on the issues that we work on. So we work on the larger gamut of sustainable development, how our cities should be, and that they should be livable. But there are like
Okay.
10 things under that.
Yeah.
We focus on sustainable transport. That includes how your streets are, what they encourage, the fact that using a bus or walking or cycling is so difficult in our cities. Why is that so? So we work majorly on that under transport, and that then connects to your road safety, the way your city is designed, the land use, and air pollution. So air pollution is also one of the things that we are working on for quite a bit of time, and not just in terms of vehicular pollution, but just the whole thing. And in that sense, then, wherever we find commonalities or the benefit of coalition in multiple cities, then we take up those issues in multiple cities, but majorly it has always been Pune.
Oh wow. So you work with the government? How is it with the local administration?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
independently.
So the way we do it, so Parisar is a smallish team. We are about 15 people now, and that is the most number of people we've had until now.
Okay.
And our approach is sort of, we've thought it out and we've tried and tested it, and we know what our strengths and weaknesses could be. But majorly it has always been data driven, not in terms of whenever we want to take a stand, we do our research, we find out what is happening, what are the different facets of it, and then we try to find out what is the on-ground situation. We connect with the people, find out what they are thinking, what they want, and then get to the PMC, get to the local administration, and wherever required, then you go to the state administration or the central administration.
Okay.
But majorly data-driven, policy-related, and systemic changes. So it's not like Parisar will go in a sort of a locality and do something
And
on their
fix
own.
something on the.
So we try and avoid doing that. When we do that, we say that this is a pilot and this is how it should be done. So it's
Okay.
with that very specific.
Just for that
intent.
proof of concept or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we do believe that until it's systemic, I mean, we don't want people to be reliant on Parisar.
Yeah.
It has to come, whatever needs to come from the government, from the
Yes.
authorities, from the system, needs to come from them. So
Nice.
that's how we've been doing it. And then that also entails at times starting public campaigns for things. And we've been trying to find our feet with that, because I don't know, because you are already connected with NGOs and civil society, you would know that even Punekars are in general quite invested in issues, and they do come on streets. They are aware, and it's not probably as silent as in other cities. So
Lately, it's been picked up quite a lot.
Yes,
The citizens' movement here
absolutely.
for the riverfront project or trees, the tree fellings, or the mountains. Yeah, slowly the awareness is picking up, no doubt about it.
Correct.
It's very much needed because I remember when I had come to Pune, it was a totally different city. I feel in this last 10-12 years, it has transformed. For not for the good things, but yeah.
It almost feels, in fact, interesting for you to say this because the way Parisar started was exactly this. Parisar started about 39 years ago, because 1987.
Wow.
And at that time, our founder, Sujit Patwardhan, and there were some other also citizens, same feeling that, this is our Pune, this is where we've lived since childhood, and things are changing, and things are changing too fast.
And
at that time, the Ganesh Khind Road trees, that first tree cutting that happened at around that time, and that really sparked them to say, okay, the cities are changing. And nobody is even documenting what is happening. So let's just at least get together and document that, okay, you are cutting the trees, you are widening the roads. To what outcome? And has that outcome really been served? And these, 4-5 normal citizens who were, of course, better connected to what was happening in the environment in a larger realm, they have actually started Parisar with that intent that, in a city, the natural heritage, the way you call it, is extremely important and has to be preserved.
Absolutely.
So it's very interesting that you are also saying that even 10-12 years ago, it was very different and it has changed for the worse, and if we were to pinpoint what exactly has happened, maybe it's not even documented. So that's
true.
the feeling that, this is my city and I don't know what's happening to it.
And for people who have grown up here,
Yes.
I just can't imagine what they must be going through.
Absolutely.
If they are really sensitive about environment, nature, and the climate, which Pune used to be.
And what I don't know, what I find interesting is also that there are so many citizens, and yet there'll be only 1% of citizens that will actually engage meaningfully with the system.
Yeah.
A large part of them would also be apathetic, not trust the system, say, "Acha, what will happen if I complain?" It's not as if they're going to fix it. So we also have we also put a lot of thought into how to change this process. To acknowledge that, okay, the system right now is not in great state, but you not engaging it with it at all is not going to make it better.
It's not the solution. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is something we focus on every interaction with citizens, with other stakeholders.
Okay.
While we ourselves keep doing our work and then policy advocacy, but NGOs का एक रोल है, citizens का एक रोल है.
तो citizens को awareness का कैसे how you guys are dealing with it?
So since we work in different sectors, I think I'll just pick up one of the sectors and probably speak about it. For example, waste burning. So for us, since we work on air pollution, waste burning is an important issue. And people who live in Pune know that it is an issue. It's not like it does not happen, especially in winters it's high, but throughout the year it happens. So we've been working on it for the last 2-3 years in a very focused manner, trying to find out कि अच्छा ये issue है तो इसका क्या कर सकते हैं. And also realizing the fact that waste burning is a symptom of the fact that your solid waste management system as a whole has certain loopholes. But we focused and tried to focus only on the enforcement or the grievance redressal part of it. That, if waste burning is found in any part of the city, what are the actions that need to happen so that it doesn't happen again, or there is some sort of correction. So we looked at the grievance redressal mechanism, which is there's a WhatsApp number by PMC, there is a phone number, toll-free phone number, there is an app, PMC Care app is there. There are many media, and for a while all these citizen committees and mohalla committees, residential groups, they have been filing these complaints, and we spoke with them to start with that, okay, this is there, then why is this happening? So we realized that there are definite gaps in this complaint system itself. That, once you lodge a complaint, it takes time for them to respond, and for something as sensitive as burning, it may not, you need to respond immediately.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things. We also realized that There are shifts of the people who are supposed to handle your complaint. So if something happens after 6 p.m., there's a good chance there is no response. Sometimes it used to come back after 2 days. Somebody used to call and say, "Ki, Acha, where is the fire now?"
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
In such situations, I feel like calling the fire brigade and to douse the flames.
You would be
Because-
surprised. A lot of citizens do that.
Do that, na?
Yes. And
Because-
the fire brigade is much more prompt.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
Like I see the hills of Pune, outskirts. Like I used to live in Hinjawadi. Always during the summers, someone will light a fire,
Right.
and it just keeps spreading. And
Right.
people
I
have
mean,
been doing it.
There, of course, the fire brigade has to be called, but there have been more and more increasing instances of citizens calling fire brigade for these garbage burning fires because now they've started becoming so big.
Oh,
So there is a systemic error. The urgency is not there, and so we've analyzed that. We've told the corporation that these are your gaps. You need to fix that. But at the same time, whenever we interact with citizens, we've been telling them that there are 3 ways in which you can escalate this. One is आप complaint करो, मतलब आपको पता भी हो कि ये शायद resolve हो ना हो, just file that complaint because
Yeah.
if they have like 1,000 complaints every day.
reporting is
something will
important.
change.
Yeah,
Yes.
reporting.
That pressure is required. So don't be
Absolutely.
like, मैं complaint करती हूँ लेकिन कुछ नहीं होता है. Just file that complaint. It takes 2 minutes of your time. So that is one. And the second thing, if you want to escalate a little bit more, so all of your wards have your ward committee. Ward office meeting, sorry, in which every month. So the dates vary. I mean, some have it on the last.
Yeah, I think it's
Thursday.
happening for the tree felling and projects as well. Like ward offices, they have their hearings and people
Correct.
go and.
So that is specific and exclusive to the tree authority and the tree committee. But
So
the
similarly
ward-
for different
हाँ.
departments.
So ward office meetings are generic meetings. यहाँ पे आप कोई भी इशू
अच्छा.
लेके आ सकते हो, citizens.
Okay.
और वहाँ पे उस डिपार्टमेंट के सारे हेड्स रहेंगे, वार्ड ऑफिसर रहेगा, पॉलिटिकल representatives are also supposed to be now present there, but
Okay.
They may or may not be.
How frequently does it happen?
Once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month. So we've been attending the Aund Banir meetings quite regularly because we've been working on the waste burning issue over there. That happens on the last Thursday of every month.
Okay.
And वहाँ पे, of course, citizens come with issues like, the street outside my house is bad or it has potholes, and that is also completely valid. I think people should go for these things also.
How's the crowd turnout in those
Interesting
meetings?
question. So, it is always those certain specific 6-7 people who are active, who are typically parts of these mohalla committees or mohalla groups. Also, sadly, I want to mention this, that senior citizens mostly, middle-aged a little bit, but no youngsters. So I think, I do think the way we teach civics in schools needs to change. Even I did civics in school and I didn't like it. As in, I didn't understand उनकी मतलब
Yeah.
ये क्या है, ये क्यों जरूरी है. It was just रट्टा.
As we grow older, then we realize what we have
Absolutely.
been through, and so that's why that section of society is still, we can see participation when it
Right.
comes to seniors.
Right. So the crowd is such, and then there are of course, from the governance side there is the ward officer, there are different department heads. There are also companies who are engaged in CSR and Bastis
so
of that
so they are
area.
present.
They are present. They report, but citizen participation, I would say, at least in the Aund Banir meetings, there are at least 20 citizens there for different issues.
And ये notifications कहाँ पे आते हैं that this date will happen or something?
So I don't think it's there in the public domain. We just typically call up the ward office and ask. Some ward offices may or may not even have these meetings. Huh?
There should be transparency,
Yes.
at least public announcement that. Otherwise, how will public get to know? Even I didn't know.
Exactly. So we make it a point.
Strange.
This is there and you can go, and once a month you can spare 2 hours.
I think ये चीज पहले fix हो जाए तो फिर बहुत चीजें get streamlined.
Correct.
There will be more participation that way.
Absolutely. And there कैसे होता है? Ward officer is there. If you come up with an issue of a footpath, the ward officer will quickly ask the engineer. He'll say अच्छा ऐसा issue है. He'll say fix it हो जाता है public.
सही है ये तो.
So faster than your other probably mechanisms.
I'm surprised कि अगर इतना proactive है तो होना चाहिए फिर. People should step up and
Yes.
attend.
Definitely.
So any success stories can you tell me about Parisar? When it comes to say implementations of
Right.
things with the bodies.
in terms of implementation.
Yeah, with the civic bodies and.
I think successes in our field are very measured. It's never like ये मैं चाहती थी ये हो गया. बहुत कम ऐसे होता है और that's something that I'm getting used to now. But I think I'd like to mention this particular campaign that we are doing, which is the Green Farewell campaign. So
Sorry,
Green Farewell campaign.
Farewell.
हाँ.
Okay.
I mentioned in the beginning that we are working on air pollution, and air pollution is a sector in which you have to work on multiple things at once because it's not one source.
Yes.
And typically you would feel that waste burning and crematoria, मतलब ये छोटे sources
Construction
नहीं
और ये सब चीजें भी बहुत है.
Yeah, compared to construction and mobility, you may feel
small.
कि अच्छा ये crematoria क्यों कर रहे हैं?
Okay.
But the idea is that these smaller sources, may typically be easier to fix with concrete action. Whereas mobility and construction, these are larger sectors. Of course, they can be fixed if there's willpower. But then we also look at these smaller sectors because they do contribute to the emissions and they contribute to the local emissions. So, जो लोग वहाँ पे रह रहे हैं, उनका exposure काफी high है.
True.
So the Green Farewell campaign we launched about 2 years ago, and it's very simple. It's just to say that whenever a loved one passes or your friend or family passes away, be conscious and choose electric or gas cremation over wood-fired cremation because two things. One is that when you are choosing a wood-fired cremation, आप almost दो बड़े पेड़ जो है 300-400 किलो का wood लगता है. You're killing
You're chopping them.
fully grown trees. Imagine it that way. And then when it is being burnt, you are emitting pollutants which are then polluting the environment. So it's a double-edged sword. So we kept it as simple as that. And it looks simple, but the back end of it is quite complicated. So, how many crematoria in Pune have electric and gas facility? Questions like, do people know where there is electric and gas? What is being done to promote electric and gas? And we had to acknowledge that this is a sensitive issue. It's not that you can enforce something like right away that nahi abhi electric or gas hi karo. So you have to work on that behavior change, that people opt for it. So we did that. We surveyed almost 40 out of 80 crematoria by ourselves. We have something called the Pune Air Action Hub, which Parisar is a part of, and that is a group of citizens and organizations who want to work for clean air. So citizens from that group itself, we went out to different parts of the city, surveyed the crematoria to find out, what are the issues in each of them, why are people opting for certain crematoriums than the others. For example, Vaikunth in Navi Pet is the place where maximum cremations take place and the people living around it are suffering for that. So why is that happening? Why, if I'm living in a certain ward, why am I not going to the crematorium near?
And did you guys cover PCMC as well?
We did not.
Okay.
We did PMC only.
So the numbers must be even more then.
Yes. So we did that. Then we came out with the findings. We found out that a lot of some crematoria do not have certain facilities. Even the addresses of certain crematoria were not very correct. They were not displayed on the website.
Which website?
A PMC website.
Acha.
So even people doing it for the first time, they may not even know कि अपने ward में है, उनको लगता है वैकुंठ ही है तो वैकुंठ में ही जाना है. So such things came up. There's also been talk of having crematoria management guidelines by the Central Pollution Control Board. So we also pushed for that. And then the major question of when cremations are happening, do you have pollution control systems and how good are they functioning? So all of these things were covered in the survey. We came out with a concrete suggestion list. We engaged with the PMC. And in the list, I think it is quite a big thing that they endorsed the Green Farewell campaign. They said that we also support this. We want more people to do electric and gas. They are also giving the subsidy for that. Electric and gas is free.
Oh, nice.
Whereas wood-fired, you have to pay upfront. But not many people again know about this too. And it's not like people will only do it if it is free, but it's also this communication that it is environment friendly. So we got them to publish the right addresses on their website. So anybody who wants to know it will find it. And now we've come out with a brochure which has information about the electric and gas crematoria. the wards that they are in. So, and that brochure we are keeping at places where people typically decide what to do with their loved ones. So, hospitals, the PMC kiosk centers where you give out information. So that has been sort of a win for us because where there was no information before, we do have very relevant information. And
even corrected information,
correct.
Which is validated now.
I mean, yeah, you feel that this is a small thing, but information and data and the correctness of it is very underscored. So I think that has been quite interesting. We've also engaged quite a bit for the Green Farewell campaign, and the experiences have been quite interesting. For example, Swachh, I mean, you must
I know.
Yeah? So every year they do a capacity building session for some of their waste pickers every year, because they really want, and that's really fantastic, because they want their the waste pickers, the women and men, to understand the work that they do, that is segregation and recycling, and the role that it plays in the larger environmental system. Climate change hai, air pollution hai, I think they try to imbibe in the workers themselves. And then they call people like us to take different sessions. So we had been called to take a session on air pollution, how is transport and air pollution connected, waste and air pollution connected, etc. And there I spoke about this Green Farewell campaign. And I told them ki ye hai, electric or gas is better. Why is it better? And this woman, she raised her hand. They're also very, very interactive. They're really cool that way. So she stood up and she said that, I don't know, I can't say it in English, but she was like, ताई तुम्ही हे म्हणताय हे मला माहितीच नव्हतं. म्हणजे I think this was 2 years ago. So she said 2 वर्षांपूर्वी माझे धनी गेले. And that was COVID time. That was very, you know how it
bad.
was. Yeah. She said तेव्हा मी त्यांना विजेच्या ह्याच्यात हे केलं, म्हणजे दहन केलं. आणि तेव्हा मला सगळे बोलले की तो काय लावारिस आहे का, हे कशाला केलं, असं करतात का, आपल्याला काय आई बाबा नाही आहेत का वगैरे. पण आता मला कळतंय की मी जे केलं ते किती फायद्याचं होतं. So it's moments like these.
For so many years she would have felt a kind of guilt, or I don't know how to say that.
And that's the beauty of talking all the time wherever you get a chance, that you don't know where it will strike whom, which point will strike whom.
How long has it been for you at Parisar, and what exactly you take care of?
So I have been in Parisar for almost 15 years now. Because
15?
Yeah, because
oh my god,
I've only been in Parisar, honestly.
Okay.
And that also people find hard to digest. But I was in college.
But that's really good. I really appreciate, because once you stay for so long, then things can only happen once there is experience with people.
Right. And I do feel that now. Because I was in college, and Ranjit Gadgil, who is now our program director, he was then not even with Parisar. He was with some other organization. He had come to the college to give a talk on, how can you participate in the civil society sector? What can you do as students? And then I had gone and met him after the session, and that's how it started. That's how I met Sujit Patwardhan, who is a founder member. And that's been my connection with Parisar. After that, it was on and off, because I was also trying to get into the civil services, which I did not. So, this then, on and off, I've been in and out. But then after I decided that, okay, this is, I'm not pursuing the services anymore. I've been in Parisar since then. So it's been quite interesting.
But I think your civil services preparation must have helped you a lot.
Yes, it did. Yes. Definitely. Although, now when you actually, we also essentially do that. We go and meet civil servants and try to push our ideas, and that's also something very interesting with it, because their approach is, so every person you meet, you have to prepare accordingly. उनका ये होता है कि क्या चाहिए, कैसे करना है, कितना पैसा लगेगा, क्या आउटकम आएगा.
These are the few things.
You cannot talk anything apart from this, and that is a skill you really have to develop. When you go to the politicians, there's a certain way, and all of these people, they have very little time all the time. So it's, you have to then really sharpen your communication skills, I would say. But I think authenticity generally matters. So if you're authentic, you're genuine, you keep going to the same people, they also realize that you are in it for the long haul. You're not in it for some superficial thing. And then of course, once that is established, it's quite fulfilling.
So how is your career progression? How does it look like? If you don't mind me telling. 15 years is a long stint.
Yeah. So initially, I have been a student intern.
Okay.
Then I have been a program associate.
Okay.
A junior program associate. Then a program associate. And now I'm a senior program associate. Many people may also feel that एक organization में इतना time क्यों रह रहा है, कैसे रह रहा है? There are a lot of things that work or don't work for you. There was a time when I felt that everybody around me is switching places, and I should also do it. I did not. But now I'm totally at peace with where I am, because the one good thing with Parisar is the autonomy that you get to execute your projects. So you're
That's
not
nice,
a cog in the whole,
bureaucracy or
exactly. You think about your projects. At this point, you also get to propose things. You get to ask for funding for the things that you want. You get to execute it the way that you want in the city. You can do out-of-box things if you can take responsibility for it. And you are not really looked down upon if something doesn't work. So it's always a learning process, and that's very, very cool. And I know for a fact that a lot of people, even in the civil society sector, do not get that chance.
So true.
It's been quite fulfilling.
Is Parisar looking, to expand or hire more, something like that? Because
as I said, we have been a small team. See, funding is always an issue in terms of expanding, because you can get more projects and you can then hire more people, but then sustaining that team over time becomes a task in itself. So you have to always frugally also think, if I hire, and otherwise be very clear that this is only on project basis.
Project basis.
This is done, but I don't know, in Parisar we've had a culture where we've not done that so much. We've tried to retain the people that we had. And once that project is over, we try to get another project and then keep them going. Because as is evident, having people for longer definitely works for you. And it's useful.
So how does the funding thing works, with Parisar?
So we apply for multiple projects at any given point of time.
Okay.
So like I said, we are working on urban transport, we are working on air pollution, there is road safety. There's also sometimes core city related stuff, heritage related stuff, it could be anything. And at any given point of time, multiple proposals or multiple funds are working at the same time. And then you also have certain CSR funds and a very small amount of donations or something like that from citizens. So largely it is funds from donor agencies on different things.
Okay.
But I want to ask you something interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think is, like, when we talk of air pollution, what health impacts would you typically think it has? Personal experience or just knowledge?
Personal experience with air pollution. I think it impacts the overall health of the body, because like if I talk about engine, the kind of air you pull in, the kind of fuel you pull in, it all affects the heart, the engine of it, the car engine. So similarly, the heart is very affected by the air, the kind of air we breathe, and also the food we intake, the water we drink. So everything is very connected. It's a system, we have to keep it functioning, and air is a significant part, because we can't stop breathing. We can stop eating, we can stop maybe drinking water for a while, but when it comes to air, it's a continuous process till we die.
Yes, I think you captured that beautifully. Why I asked you is also, and I know for a fact that you would definitely be more aware of this, but when we started our air quality work, we did start the perception survey between the amongst the most vulnerable, which is people who are just outside almost the entire day because of their professions. So your hawkers, vendors who have these carts, the traffic police, these waste pickers,
Yeah.
and the rickshaw drivers. So we had a survey with them and we asked them a couple of questions that do you know what the health impact of air pollution is on you or in general? And it was very surprising and almost, I mean, you think you would know, but most of them kept it short to breathing disorders, breathing issues, allergies, and dust related issues. When we asked them, do you think it is related to diabetes? When we asked them, do you think it is related to heart disease? They said no.
Oh.
So that also is an important, inflection point for us, that a lot of people are not even aware what the air is doing to you. And of course, I think after that, it's been 4 or 5 years to that perception survey. Now there's of course much more awareness, I would say. But still, the fact that air pollution is causing these disorders, so there's heart disease, there's blood pressure, there is mental disorders like Alzheimer's, depression, anxiety, stress. This is not very well known. So I think that is something that we keep talking about wherever we go.
I remember sometime back I checked on the Google Maps the AQI of Pune. Kothur was in the greener side, and Hinjawadi being so lush green with lot of mountains and all, it was towards the moderate or the average numbers. So I was surprised.
But you do check this AQI on an app?
No, on the Google Maps.
Achha, uspe hi
Google Maps पे भी you can see the
satellite-based data,
AQI points.
Correct. So that is also something that we do tell people to do, that there is an app which is a Sameer app and which will give you the monitor readings of different monitors in Pune. So that's also one way to find
Is this the right way?
Yes, this is where the red gate.
Oh, okay. This is Parisar.
Yes. Do you want to come up?
Yeah, I can. If it's okay.
Yeah.
And if you're okay, can I post it online for my community of listeners who follow my work?
Sure.
Is it okay?
Sure. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. So, come up.
Yes. There's a dog.
No, I
You're
love
okay with
animals.
No, the dog is mad. Doesn't do anything, keeps barking. But some people
Okay.
don't.